Good morning, everyone. It's been a while since we've checked in, and I wanted to give you some updates regarding class registration for next year. So, I know it's kind of hard to believe that we are nearing December at this point, and we're already thinking about classes for next year, even though it doesn't really feel like we've barely gotten started on classes this year, or maybe it has. I don't know. It's been a crazy year. But I wanted to talk about some of the things that are going on with engineering this year. Um, as some of you have seen, there's been a lot of changes to my classroom over this last year, and there's actually going to be hopefully some changes occurring with courses over the next couple of years. Now, I want to preface this by saying it's mostly just going to change in name, but it won't change in teachers or anything like that. But for next year, we are looking at trying to make some changes to those course names. So, however, they're not currently going to change. So what you are going to see is just a few of the classes that we're offering for engineering for next year. And I highly encourage that you pick first choice on Principles of Engineering. And that's going to be this one right here, right? So most of you are taking Intro to Engineering Design, or IED as I like to call it. And I highly encourage you to take Principles of Engineering. What that is going to be is that's going to be the classes that you're seeing the catapults being built. So Mr. Schwartz's POE classes have been currently building catapults, and it's a lot more hands-on, it's a lot more critical design, it's a lot of physics, it's a lot of cool stuff that we're going to be talking about. And as far as building our program, if you're not really sure if you're interested in POE and building catapults, but you're, say, interested in building computers with me, or if you're interested in some other facet of engineering that I have listed, I still encourage you to prioritize Principles of Engineering, as that will segue you into other classes that you can take your junior or senior year, assuming that most people I'm talking to are freshmen and sophomore. I know there's a few of us juniors and seniors out there. So just some of the other things that I have in mind, the changes that I'm looking to make is to try and incorporate more. I don't really feel like we've been able to tap into a lot of the cool technology that's out there. And so Mr. Schwartz and I have been working diligently to try and figure out some different things that we would like to incorporate. So the three classes that we do offer in your course curriculum are these three. So if you're in Intro to Engineering Design, you should be taking Principles of Engineering next year, with the idea that you could take Digital Electronics your third year. However, based on enrollment and based on how things work, a lot of this might be shaking up in the next year or so. And like I said earlier, just by name. We would like to try and include more projects and include less kind of busy work, which we have been dealing with Project Lead the Way for the last few years. So yeah, if you have any questions about which class to take, just come see me or Mr. Schwartz, and we'd be glad to help you out. Some of the other interests that I've actually had include CNC manufacturing, which is the ability to use computer numerical control, or CNC, to be able to create and cut out different stuff using a computer. So that's more along the lines of what you would use CAD stuff for. I am really interested in building up a library of different 3D printers to make a makerspace on the back half or closer to my office in this classroom. I've also had plenty of ideas about having kids take apart and rebuild computers to learn how they work. I don't know if that's going to be a section out of digital electronics or if that's going to be a small portion of another class in the future. It's up in the air. We are all also very interested in aviation. It seems like drone technology is really taking off as of recent, and it's becoming very, very cool. And Mr. Schwartz, I know in particular, has his drone pilot certification. It's the Part 107 license, and we love taking our school drones out, and that is a section that we are looking at trying to do as well. And the last one that I wrote down is NASA Hunch. There was a few students last year, so last year would be the 1920 school year that got cut short by COVID. A few of those students had actually gotten selected to go to, I believe, Houston to talk to some NASA engineers about a product that they created that would go to the International Space Station. Super, super cool program. You basically are presented with a problem Like, for example, I think these students had to build a can crusher that didn't use gravity, or wasn't necessary to use gravity in order to crush cans, right? If you're thinking about this action of pulling down, you're launching yourself halfway across the space station because of this motion pulling down, right? So it's a really, really cool program as well that I would love to get more students involved with, and hopefully try and make it a class at some point. The other class and pathway that you can take if you're wanting to continue to be in engineering is architecture and architectural graphics. That class is kind of a standalone. It's not really part of the engineering curriculum. However, we do have sections of it, and it is a very popular class. So if you're interested in becoming an architect, this is a lot more drafting and sketching and designing buildings. We'll actually use the laser engraver to construct model homes. And this class is also very fun. So if you like the design element of engineering but not really into the actual engineering portion, I highly recommend that you take architecture. And as always, I wanted to just point out the other 4 sections of the ICTE department and tell you about the other classes that you can take. I've been teaching photo for a few years with Mr. Schwartz. He and I get along really well, and that class is phenomenal. I really, really appreciate being able to take pictures, but also being able to manipulate them using different softwares. It's a good class overall. Automotive, if you're interested in doing any sort of learning how to do some basic car maintenance, as well as learning about how engines work in particular, since that still to me is kind of a bit, as we say, voodoo magic. It just kind of works and we don't really know how to explain it. Mr. Brown and Mrs. Brown do a good job of explaining it in Auto 1. Metals is also a really interesting class. It's a lot of science behind how welding works in particular. There's a lot of hands-on activity because you are dedicating yourself to making a good weld. It just takes a lot of time, which means that you're in the shop a lot. It's a very cool class as well. And then woodworking is taught by Mr. Brown. Woods is very into kind of like this collaboration between using technical tools as well as art skills to be able to create products. And it's a cool class that you also get to spend a lot of shop time in. And so, yeah, those are our courses. As always, if you are in engineering and you want to continue engineering, please sign up for POE. Otherwise, I highly encourage you to take any of our other classes. So, as always, if you have any questions, just shoot me an email. If you like having my microphone a little bit better because you can actually hear me and I'm not screaming into my computer like an old man, let me know. I am going to be posting this on YouTube, and I am going to be checking for comments, and I will leave those open. So if you wanted to leave some comments about some ideas that you have for engineering, I'm all ears at this point, and I would love to hear your opinion. So, anywho, hope you're having a good day. Talk to you soon.